Hey friends, this is James Hardy with One Love Yoga, and welcome to Power Flow. We're going to start today's class out on our bellies, so bring yourself all the way down just like you were laying out at the beach. Want you to relax your head down to your hands or down to the ground. You can turn your head left or right as we go through this beginning piece, just whatever feels best to you. Awesome. Once you're feeling settled in, go ahead and exhale all the way down to empty. Breathe into your low belly and your low back. And then hold your breath. Breathe into your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. And then hold. Take the air all the way to your chest, all the way to your shoulders. Take that full breath and now relax and hold on to it. And then exhale for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, breathe in low belly, low back. And pause. Breathe into your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. Hold there. Fill all the way to the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Once you got that full breath, just hold on to it, relax. And then take that slow exhale, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, fire up your Ujjayi breathing. So this is inhaling through the nose like you're sipping the air in through a straw, filling from the bottom, slowly all the way up at the top. And then exhaling out your nose as if you were fogging up a mirror, slowly releasing all the way back down to empty. This is a full belly breath. It's a diaphragm breath. And as you work this breath, this is also known as the breath of victory, you want to listen to the sound it creates, and it sounds like ocean waves. As we practice just controlling our breath, we are practicing mindfulness. So we start to get more into meditation, where you are giving your mind just the simple task of paying attention to inhaling and exhaling. And you're allowing that task to bring you into the present moment and present experience. So let your breath be your guide for your practice and simply take what works for me and leave the rest behind. Awesome, friends. Pick your feet up in space, bending your knees, and start to give a slow circle out through your ankles as you work that breathing. This is really nice for your low back, for your knee joints, and then whatever movement you're doing with your ankles, your feet can feel really great here. And then we'll move into low cobra. So have the tops of the feet pressing down to the ground. Bring your legs a little closer together. Slide your palms down just right below your pectorals so they're framing your chest. And then let the elbows lift up in space. Squeeze your elbows gently towards one another so your shoulder blades pull together. And then as you root down into your feet, you press into your hips. Lift up through your chest. Take your chest just off the ground. Find length through the back of your neck. Now, the great thing about low cobra is that your hands are down to the ground. They might have a little bit of downwards pressure, but mainly what's happening is you're lifting off the ground with the back muscles, with the core muscles, to the point where now try to lift your palms just a ½ inch up off the ground. Keep that shape in your spine. Keep that length through the back of your neck. Beautiful friends, fly your arms back, so reach your fingers to the back of the room, and now lift your thighs up off the ground. So we're taking low cobra into our locust pose, Savasana. Lift your elbows a little bit higher in space, adding a little bit of a bend. Squeeze your shoulder blades in towards one another. Point back through your toes as you lift through your legs and stay with that breathing. On your next exhale, lower down, press up to a tabletop, and we'll start to find cat and cow. And if you're familiar with this, just go right into it at your own pace. Cow is where you're dropping the belly, and then you're lifting up through your sternum, you're lifting up through your chest. And then cat is where you let the mid-back lift high and release the weight of the head and the tailbone down. You could inhale into cow, exhale into cat, or you might take a full round of breath in one before you move on to the next. You can also shift a little bit forwards and backwards, or let your hips or shoulders shift a little bit to the left or to the right. And as we're adding this kind of movement with the breath, you really want to let the breath lead the way for the movement. So as you do that slow, controlled breathing, it then relates to this slow, controlled movement. Take your knees out a little bit wider, tops of the feet are to the ground, bring your big toes together and reach back into child's pose. So just drop your sit bones back towards your heels, forehead to the mat, arms out in front of you. Work with that breathing. At any point in time, you might give a little press forward into your hands, so you're pushing your sit bones closer back to your heels, lengthening out your spine. And this is really great for your low back. Beautiful for the hips and for the knees. Find one more full round of breath here. And then lift up to tabletop and turn the insides of your wrists to face to the front of the room. Your thumbs point to the side, your fingers point back. And while you're doing that breathing, rock back in space and peel your hands off the mat back to your fingertips, and then slowly rock back forward till the heel of the palm lands down. And do that a couple times, leaning back, peeling the hands off the mat to your fingertips, and then slowly rolling back forward till the heels of the palms are down. Gently press the back of your hands down into the mat and give a little side to side or a little back and forth massage. And then just come into hero's pose. Knees together, tops of the feet to the ground, sit bones to your heels, and roll out your wrists. Move through your fingers. Give a little movement through your arms. Okay, we'll meet up in plank Palakkasana. So palms underneath your shoulders, right at shoulder distance. Step the toes to the back of the mat. And then we want to line up the hips on level with your shoulders. And we want to feel the tone in our core. So if you were to begin to kind of pull your tailbone down towards your heels and then stop and feel if you could tilt your tailbone up to the sky, you want to go right in between those two. I know that can sound kind of confusing, but we're just talking about engaging the core muscles and engaging your back muscles. Have a slight bend to your elbows. I don't mean that it's a visual bend. It's the difference between having them locked and a micro bend. Tone your biceps in towards center line. Now on an exhale, hinge forward, come halfway to Chaturanga. So that's Chaturanga Dandasana. We're just holding a half plank. You could also do this on your knees with your ankles crossed. And then on an inhale, lift back up the top of your plank. Let's do that again. Exhale, shift forward, come halfway down. Hold on to that Chaturanga. Inhale, reach up to plank, and then shift back into down dog. So reach your hips back up nice and tall. Start to walk out that downward facing dog, dropping the weight of one heel to the ground while you bend the opposite knee, pedaling out through your legs. Spread out into your hands, so find the full grip of the circle of your palm, the fingers and knuckles. Feet are at hip bone distance, hands are right at shoulders distance, maybe slightly wider. Bend both of your knees and reach your hips back up nice and tall. Micro bend the elbows. Tone the biceps into center line. Release the weight of your head so you're looking to the back wall. It's going to feel like imagine you were holding tennis balls between your ears and your biceps. And then with that lengthening your spine, now start to straighten your legs out, letting the heels pull down towards the earth. Awesome. Big breath into down dog. And on your exhale, bend your knees, look between the hands, and take a step or a float up to a forward fold at the top of your mats. Once you've got your forward fold, fingertips to the ground, give your head a slow nod, yes. Bend your knees as much as you need to get the fingertips to the ground. Then lengthen the legs from there. Take a slow side to side nod, no. And then just make this a ragdoll frame. Opposite hand to the outside of opposite elbow or bicep. And just letting that ragdoll frame gently sway side to side or rock back and forth. Weight of your head is totally relaxed. And if your knees are locked, add a little bit of that bend to the knees. And if your elbows aren't coming lower than your knees, bend a little bit deeper. So let your back really get a nice bend here, some nice length to it. And then releasing the weight of your arms and keeping the weight heavy in your arms and your head, vertebrae by vertebrae, roll up to standing. Head is the last thing to come up. When it comes up, inhale to reach your arms wide and tall into Tadasana Mountain. Arc slightly back. And on your exhale, bring your hands down into your heart center at standing. Awesome. Inhale, reach up to Tadasana Mountain, breathe in. And then on that exhale, hinge out from your hips and control your swan dive all the way down into your forward fold. Release at the bottom and inhale halfway up. So press into your shins, bend your knees a little bit, and then lengthen your spine. We have a quote-unquote flat back, so the spine's parallel to the ground. Shoulder blades are toning in, gaze is down. Take one more inhale to lengthen, but strengthen around that spine. And on your exhale, refold. Awesome. Step back into your plank. Exhale halfway down to Chaturanga Dandasana. Press to the tops of your feet and inhale upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Hips are off the ground, not because you're lifting them up and back, but because you're pressing into the tops of your feet, pressing to your hands and lifting through your chest. Shoulder heads away from your ears, biceps toned in. From here, take it back to down dog. And on an inhale, we'll lift the right leg back up, three-legged down dog, pressing your heel up to the top corner of the back wall, really lengthening through it. Awesome. And on an exhale, bring your knee to your left elbow or tricep like you're in a push-up. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Inhale, reach back up, three-legged down dog. And as you exhale, bring your knee to your right elbow or tricep. Hold in for 5, 4, keep breathing, 3, 2, inhale, reach back up, three-legged down dog, and on your exhale, bring your knee into your forehead, around your spine, back heels off the ground, 3, 2, one more inhale, back up, three-legged down dog, and on your exhale, step up into a low lunge position. So work the foot up in between your hands, get a nice long stance, and then warrior 2, knife edge to the back, left foot to the ground, left arm back, right arm forward. The stance is long enough that you get the right knee bent at 90 and you bring your right thigh parallel to the ground. Strong press through both of your feet. So you're feeling those leg muscles engaged, pressing down, and then tone your thighs back in. Strengthen around that right knee through the lower leg muscles, upper leg muscles. Let your glute engage on that right side and pull back up and in. And then as you open through the arms, we're not leaning forward through the chest or dropping down. Spine is straight up and the chest is opening towards the left side of the room. Those thighs are gently pulling back, stabilizing you. Shoulder heads are released down away from the ears and the back. You might think about the shoulder blades slightly toning back towards one another, and then your gaze out across your fingertips. Of course, that breathing right inside of all of it. Your next exhale, extended side angle pose. So right forearm to your right thigh. For today, reach your left arm in a diagonal from your back left leg. Let the shoulders stay plugged into the socket and then start to reach your right arm up on the same line as your left arm. Pretend you've got like a basketball you're holding in your arms or something of that size. Stay strong with those legs. Keep breathing. And keep those arms plugged into the shoulder sockets as you reach through the side bodies, reach through your fingertips. You got it. And come back to warrior 2. Turn your right palm to the sky. Take your left hand to your hip, thigh, or back behind you, and then reverse your warrior. Reach up tall through the right arm as you press deep into your lunge. Bend your elbow a little bit so your fingers reach more to the top corner of the back of the room, and then let your head drop slightly back as your gaze goes up. You might also turn your gaze to the left, or you could try turning your gaze back down towards your left foot behind you. Work with those inhales, work with those exhales. Breathe into it, and on an exhale, we'll cartwheel down to a low lunge position. So both hands are framing the right foot, ball the left foot to the ground behind you. And then take this up into standing splits. And what this is a forward fold, a standing forward fold just on one leg, the right leg. So lift your left leg up in space. You can have your fingertips or your fists or your palms all the way down to the mat. You want your gaze to go to the wall back behind you. And then you're actively pressing into your arms, into your hands, lifting the hips back up high, reaching up through those left toes. Feel that press down into your right foot as you lengthen the right leg. Press down through your arms, hug in through your biceps, and weight of the head released. One more inhale, reach up, and then forward fold at the top of the mat, left foot meets the right. On your inhale, come halfway up, lengthen through your spine, strengthen around it. And then on that exhale, refold. We'll inhale to Utkatasana, chair pose. So reaching back into a squat, lowering your sit bones back in space. You can pull your biceps up, or rather you can lift your arms up and then pull your arms back so your biceps are framing your ears. And your arms could go a little bit wider, even all the way to the point where you've got goalposts with your arms. Feel those shoulder blades together back behind you, toning in. As you're dropping the weight back, feel the support of the leg muscles, right? From the lower legs. Well, it's really from the feet gripping down, through the lower legs, upper legs, through your glutes. And then on an exhale, flying chair. Lift your heels off the ground. You're in the balls of the feet. Reach your arms back. Your arms remind me here of locust pose, where your elbows are slightly bending and reaching back, shoulders are toned in. Your gaze is still forward, chest is up, so you don't need to bow down. And then stay with that breathing. Find the sound of that breath. You got this. Okay, drop your right heel, inhale your arms and your left knee up, one-legged mountain. So left knee lifts up in space, your thighs parallel to the ground, your thigh bones plugging back into your hips, arms are fully extended and the gaze is forward. And then we're going to take this into figure four. So your left ankle goes over the top of your right knee or thigh, and then you sit back into a one-legged chair. You can bring hands to your heart, or one hand to your knee, one hand to your heel. And as you take that figure four, let your left toes flex back in towards your shin. Let your left knee gently flex down. This is also a really nice hip opener. This is very similar opening of the hip that happens when you're in reclined pigeon on your back. Keep the strength around that right knee. Just don't drop into it, right? Stay engaged. Right on, so we're going to inhale back up, one-legged mountain, bring your arms in your left knee, and then on your exhale, start to reach your foot forward, lengthening your left leg as you continue to lift up through your thigh. Imagine a suitcase handle on your left thigh, you're lifting up, and then you're pressing forward. So sometimes when we go for this leg extension, I see folks falling back in space. The point of this is more forward motion out through your core, pressing off of that right foot. And then on an exhale, friends, we're swimming all the way back into a low lunge and then stepping back to our plank position. Okay, so side plank, left hand is your base. Roll onto the outside edge of your left foot. You can stack the right over the left and reach your right arm up in space. You could also kickstand if you want, knee underneath your hip, toes out to the side with that bottom left leg. Make sure that your left shoulder is directly above your left hand, and then spread out into the palm. Press into it. Let your bicep tone in. Lift up tall. A lot of that lift through that inner left side body. Find your breathing. Beautiful. On an exhale, turn into your plank. You can go right to down dog or drop halfway, Chaturanga. We could go upward facing dog. You could also do a low cobra in lieu of that. And then a downward facing dog. Okay, get out of your wrist by pressing strong into the hands and then lifting back up, letting the biceps tone in. Inhale your left leg up in space, three-legged down dog. Reach that left heel to the top corner of the back wall. You got this. Watch that you're not sinking into your right hip. That press up and back through your left leg so you're lifting up and back, using that right leg as well. On your exhale, bring your knee to your right elbow or tricep. Shoulders above your hands here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, back up, three-legged down dog. Press through the heel. Exhale, knee to left elbow or tricep. Shoulders above hands. Hold in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, back up, three-legged down dog. And then exhale, the knee to your forehead, round the back. Back heel goes high here for 4, 3, 2, 1. One more inhale up, three-legged down dog. And on your exhale, step up, low lunge position. Get a really long stance from the front of the mat to the back. So as we rise up to Warrior 2, high edge of the right foot to the ground, right arm back, left arm forward, you already have the depth of your lunge. Got your knee right over your heel. Knee bent, almost at 90. Left thigh more parallel to the ground. Left sit bone tucked underneath your body. Strong press off the legs. Feel the support around that left knee as you engage from the foot, lower leg, upper leg, right to your glute. Spine right up in space. Open through the arms. Shoulder blades toned in and gaze out over those fingertips. Just riding out the breath. Okay, next exhale, extended side angle pose. Hinge forward, left forearm, left thigh, and then reach your right arm out on a diagonal from your right leg. By the way, if your right hip pops up when you go Warrior 2 to extended side angle, drop the hip down so it's on level with your left hip while you're here. And then start to take that bottom left arm on the same line that your right leg and right arm are on. Pretend you've got something the size of like a basketball or something in between your hands, maybe even smaller. And then as you extend through your fingertips, keep those arms plugged into your shoulder sockets. So we're really reaching through the side bodies here. And lots of different pieces of engagement. I love it when you work with that breath because it just brings you back into what's happening here and now. And you can keep checking in on all those systems that are in place supporting you inside of the pose. We return to Warrior 2. Turn the left palm to the sky. Right hand to your hip, thigh, or behind you. And then reverse your Warrior straight up to the left arm. So there's this big line from your left hip crease through the side body all the way through the fingertips. Bend the elbow, let the hand reach slightly back, and then drop your head a little bit back as your gaze goes up. It's natural to kind of lift out of the lunge in Reverse Warrior at the beginning. So it's a nice time to check back in that you're still in that same lunge. And not as much, but I will sometimes see people in Reverse Warrior with their back hip lifted up in space. And I think it's that they're just not quite getting into the lunge and feeling the support of it while they're there. Nice. Take one more inhale while you're here, and on your exhale, cartwheel down into your low lunge position. So we're going to take this into standing splits. So take the weight to your left foot into your fingertips, and then lift your back right leg up tall in space. And then press down into your fingertips, or down into your fists, or down into your palms. Head is totally released. Gaze is behind you. Crown of the head is down. Press down into that left leg as you lift up. One more inhale, extends up. And then on that exhale, full forward fold, top of your mat. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen your spine, strengthen around it. On your exhale, let's take the refold. And then your inhale is to chair, so get strong through your core and lift up into that squat. Drop back through your sit bones. Reach through your fingertips, but then pull your arms back so your biceps are framing your ears. And again, your arms can go as wide as goalposts. Shoulder blades slightly toned in, core around the low back right here. And then feeling the glutes strong, pulling away from your knees, feeling the upper legs, lower legs, and down into your feet. Okay, take it to flying chair. Lift the heels off the ground. You're on the balls of the feet. Fly your arms back. Elbows have that slight bend. Shoulders still toning in. Your chest is pointed forward. Your gaze is forward. Dig in with that breath. Okay, left heel drops, inhale, arms and right knee up, one-legged mountain. Stand through the fingers, right knee bent at 90, lift up through the leg, thigh bone parallel to the ground, plugging back into the hip. And then our figure four, so send your right ankle over the top of your left knee or thigh and sit back to your one-legged chair. So you come back to your one-legged chair, flex your right toes back towards your shin, let your right knee gently flex down. Focus your gaze on one object in front of you that's not moving. Again, hands could be a heart center, or one hand to knee, one hand to heel. Okay, so we're lifting back up, one-legged mountain on the inhale, but extend your right leg forward as you lift up through your thigh. Remember, not leaning back, but going forward. Breathe into it. And on your exhale, swim it back to a low lunge position. Step back to your plank, and then side plank, right hand is your base. So roll onto the outside edge of your right foot. Reach up through your left arm. Draw those hips up off the ground. Right hand is right underneath your shoulder. Bowing away from the ground through those hips. Strong as the right arm presses to the ground, making sure we're not sinking into that right shoulder, but lifting up and away. Nice, take one more inhale to lift up, and on your exhale, turn to your plank, lower halfway down. Press the tops of the feet, inhale, up dog, tuck your toes, come back into down dog. You can always skip that, go to down dog, or you can take a low cobra in place of up dog. Okay, couple rounds of breath in down dog, friends. And now we're going to do this sequence breath to movement. So on an inhale, reach your right leg back up, three-legged down dog, and as you exhale, bring the knee over to your left elbow, shoulders above hands. Inhale, back up, three-legged down dog. Exhale, knee to right elbow, shoulders above hands. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, knee to your forehead, back heel goes high, hips lift high. One more inhale, back up, three-legged down dog. And on your exhale, step up to that low lunge position. Inhale, Raja into Warrior Two, left arm back, right arm forward. And exhale to our version of side angle pose, so reaching out through your arms. On your inhale, reverse your warrior, left hand behind you, right arm lifts up, and then exhale, cartwheel down into a low lunge. Inhale, standing splits, pick up the left leg, gaze is behind you. Exhale, forward fold, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen your spine, tone shoulders in. Exhale to refold. Inhale, Utkatasana, that's chair pose. And then on your exhale, flying chair, arms back, lift the heels. Drop your right heel, inhale, arms and left knee up, one-legged mountain. And as you exhale, figure four, left ankle over your right thigh, hands to heart. Inhale, reach back up, one-legged mountain, but extend through your left leg. And then exhale, low lunge position. Nice, your inhale is side plank, left hand is your base, right arm lifts. And on your exhale, we're gonna take that flow, so high plank through low plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Okay, so here's the other side. On an inhale, we take left leg back up, three-legged down dog. And as you exhale, cross the knee to your right elbow, shoulders above hands. Inhale, three-legged down dog. And then exhale, knee to left elbow, shoulders above hands. Inhale, reach it back up. Exhale, knee to your forehead, back heel lifts high. One more inhale, three-legged down dog. And on your exhale, step up, low lunge. Warrior two on your inhale. And exhale to extended side angle pose, arms on the diagonal. Inhale, reverse your warrior, right hand behind you. And on your exhale, cartwheel down, low lunge. Inhale, standing splits, right leg lifts, press to the ground. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, extend through spine, tone in. Refold on that exhale, and then inhale, chair pose. Exhale, flying chair. Lift the heels, send the arms back. Drop the left heel, inhale, arms, right knee, one-legged mountain. And as you exhale, figure four, right ankle over your left thigh, hands into your chest. Inhale, back up, one-legged mountain, extend through your right leg, and then exhale, low lunge. Okay, inhale, side plank, right hand is your base, left arm lifts, and then that flow, exhale halfway down. Inhale, up dog, tuck the toes, exhale, back to down dog. Awesome, friends, we're gonna do some work for our core muscles. So you can drop to your knees, come to your sit bones. It's a nice time to grab a drink of water. Solid work, amigos. And then the core work that I do, we will be doing some yoga poses, but some of this is just taken straight out of more of a fitness background, just to get those core muscles fired up. We love having a strong core in yoga. We use it so much in these poses, especially in power yoga, right? So, bring yourself down to your back, and we're gonna do the legs straight up in space, and we're gonna do a move, a hold, and then the same move again. So the move is going to be where you're reaching, are called hip lifts. So your hands are behind the base of your skull, and then you're lifting your hips off the ground, poking your toes up towards the sky, coming back down. Okay, so ready, set, and go. You can exhale to lift up off the ground. You're kind of rolling back more onto your shoulders. And then as you come back down, the hold is you lift your arms straight up, your head and shoulders are off the ground, and your gaze is forward. So hips down and then reaching up through your hands. You can always take one hand behind the base of your skull for a little more support. Nice, go back into those hip lifts, and then we'll take a rest just a little bit longer. Awesome, friends. For our rest, let's explore Supta Baddha Konasana, recline bound angle, recline cobbler's pose. This is a really comfortable position where you're lying on your back, and then you're just bringing the bottoms of the feet together and letting the knees open wide. Weight of your head's relaxed, arms are relaxed, and just dialing in that slow, deep breath. Perfect. For the next one, we're going to find the next core move. We're going to find a reverse tabletop. So hands behind the base of your skull, knees are bent at 90, bottoms of feet are forward. And then you might know these just as bicycles, right? So you take one, if I take the right leg forward, I pull the right elbow to the left knee, and then I switch up. So just join me, friends. Let's go for it. So one leg reaching forward, and then you're twisting into the knee that comes in towards you through opposite elbow. Okay, and then we're going to hold both the legs out on a diagonal. Low back is rooted to the ground. So don't drop so low that your low back arches. Have that low back pressed into your mat. Nice, stay with the breath. And back into your bicycles, into that twisting. Extension through one leg, opposite knee comes in. Nice, last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool, take another rest. A full morning stretch can feel great. Just taking your arms all the way overhead behind you, legs out in front of you, giving a roll out through ankles or wrists, moving your fingers and your toes. Yeah, nice exhale out the mouth can feel good. Join me on this one. Breathe in. Exhale, release it out. And then to get up into our boat pose, our Savasana, bring your knees in, grab your hamstrings, and then you can rock your way up, or kind of lift your way up, right? It's a combination of some momentum lifting back up, and I like to do that a couple times, just feels good on my back. And then eventually we land up in that boat pose. So your heels are up off of the ground. And while your heels are off, we're gonna get into the movement piece of boat where we cross our ankles, lift up through your spine, and then like you're rowing a canoe, you're gonna start to row to the left and to the right, so just join me, here we go. So twisting left, and then twisting back right. Use your breath, and then we'll hold our Savasana, so you can uncross your ankles, lift up through your chest. And as you hold boat, you can also lengthen your legs out, or if you need more support, pull back against your hamstrings. Although the real challenge, I think, comes when you start to let go of your legs and you're just letting your body float up in space. And then slowly over the course of time, experiencing that length in your legs is really cool. Use your breathing. Okay, cross and go back into your twists, back into your rowing. Nice, last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent, friends. Come all the way forward to a forearm plank. Come all the way forward like you were going to go to a forearm plank, but then drop your hips down, tops the feet are to the ground. Find some length up through the back of your neck. This is Sphinx pose. And then as we're lifting up through the chest, we're right into that breathing. And if you want, just twist your gaze over across your left shoulder. If you're over your left shoulder, slowly twist across your right. You could just return your head center with length through the back of your neck, or let the weight of the head just release down a little bit. Maybe a little side-to-side movement through your chin. And then eventually lower to the ground, lift up to tabletop, and we're going to go into Dolphin. So your elbows drop down to the ground. And you want to make the shape number 11, where your forearms are on parallel with one another, and you're pressing to the bellies of your forearms, your palms, and your fingers. You could take opposite hand first to cup the outside of opposite elbow, and then swing your forearms back on parallel. That will get everything at shoulder's distance. And then from there, tuck your toes, lift your knees off the mat, take your hips up, and as you walk your toes towards you, you're lifting your hips back up away, like you're lifting your sternum back up towards your thighs, pulling the hips away from those arms pressing down. Head is off the ground as you're pressing to the ground. and then lifting back up to your hips, lifting sternum towards your thighs. On an inhale, reach your right leg back and up. Press your heel to the top corner of the back wall. Reach through it, extend. Ujjayi breathing. You got it, friends. In and out through the nose. And then one or both at a time, press your hands to the ground and take it to three-legged down dog. Once you find three-legged down dog, start to make a scorpion tail. So your right inside of your right hip opens more to face the right wall. Your knee lifts tall, and then your toes drape down. Imagine your heels coming in towards your glutes. Stay here, or to move into Wild Thing, pivot with your left hand, and then flip the dog and plant your right heel underneath your right knee. Your left leg is like bridge pose, or rather, your left leg is like side plank. You could also, though, bring it in like bridge pose, left heel underneath your knee if you like. Hips lift up, right arm goes forward, gaze goes up. And just like side plank, strong with that bottom left arm. Okay, turn back, three-legged down dog, breathe up your right leg, and on your exhale, come up into a low lunge position. Reach your right arm up in space, twist that low lunge. Go to the 5 fingertips of your left hand, then the middle fingertip of your left hand, and start to hover your left hand just off the ground. Stay strong with your legs, open through your wingspan. And take this into runner's lunge or lizard pose. So on your exhale, bring both hands to the inside of your right foot. Heel toe your right foot to the right side of your mat, hands under your shoulders, left foot a little bit back, a little bit to the left. You could bring your forearms down to a block, or you could bring your forearms all the way down to the mat. For today, I'll challenge you to keep your back knee lifted, so it's like you're in forearm plank, but there's a version of this where your back knee taps down. And then as we're in this position, watch that you're not dropping one of your hips, closer to the ground than the other, or that one of your hips isn't swiveling more forward to the front of the room than the other. So square to the ground, square to the front of the room. Right knee is right above your right heel. And then stay with that breath. Way to stay engaged, almost there. We'll press up to our hands. If you're using the block, slide it out in front of you. Come into a low lunge position and then rise up into a high lunge. Ball of your left foot is off the mat and pulling forward. Thighs are toning in towards center line. Drop nice and deep into it. Reach up through your fingertips. And then for Warrior 3, I'm going to set us up into this where you take your left hand to your left thigh, left hand to your right thigh, and then place your right palm over the left palm. And then we start to lean forward, taking it to your right leg and reaching your left leg behind you. Now, if you've got the block, you could also drop your right hand down to the block or have your left hand to the block over to the left. Start to reach your right fingertips forward in space, keeping your left hand to your right thigh. And think about making a capital T shape with your body. So you're lifting your back heel up on level with your hip, toes are flexing down, you're pressing through your left heel. And then you're doing that half lift with your spine and sending your fingertips forward. You can take your left arm forward. And again, like we did in that extended side angle pose, your arms are pulling up to frame your ears, and then it's like you've got a little ball between your hands. We'll take this to a low lunge position, step back to your plank. Exhale halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog, and then tuck your toes and shift back to down dog. Okay, bring it back into tabletop, and we'll go into the other side. This starts out in dolphins. When you're ready, bring yourself to dolphin. Make the shape number 11 with your forearms. Lift the knees off the mat, tucking your toes, and as you walk in, your toes in, you're lifting your hips back up. Sternum lifting towards your thighs. And your elbows will want to go wide, but you want to keep them reined in, so you make the shape number 11. Lift your left leg back and up, three-legged dolphin. Nice work. Stay with it. One at a time, lengthen your arms out so you go from three-legged dolphin to three-legged down dog, and on your exhale, open your hip and bend your knee and make that scorpion tail. Watch that your right shoulder's not sinking down. Keep your shoulders strong, and that your right heel's not shifting to the right. It's pointed directly behind you. Okay, flip into wild thing when you're ready. Your right leg's in side plank or in bridge pose. Left leg is in bridge pose. Lift up through your hips. Reach that left arm forward. Press strong into your right. Gaze can go up in space. Turn back, three-legged down dog. Lift up through the left leg and low lunge on an exhale. Okay, right hand to the ground. You can use your palm, fingertips, or fist. Left arm lifts up. But then we're going to go to the right fingertips. Stay with the breathing, right middle fingertip, and then hover the right hand just off the ground. Find the strength in your legs. Open the wingspan. Gaze is to the left. And then on an exhale, we come into that runner's lunge. So drop the hands to the inside of your left foot. Heel toe your left foot over the left side of your mat. Slide your right leg a little bit back and a little to the right. Forearms can come down. Well, you could stay on your hands if you're already feeling that stretch in your hip. But today we're shooting for the forearms down onto a block, or the forearms all the way down to the ground. And then we want to square the hips to the ground, square the hips to the front of the room. Stabilize your left knee above your left heel. Feel the grip of your left foot to the ground. And stay with that breath. Last round of breath. Slide the block in front of you if you've got one. We'll walk that left foot back into low lunge and then inhale high crescent lunge. So that back right heel is off the ground, pulling forward. Thighs are toning in. Arms lift up in space. And then for warrior three, you'll slide your right hand to the top of your left thigh. Bring your left palm on top of your right palm, and then launch forward. If you've got a block, it could go on level 3 or 2 for your right hand under your right shoulder. So as you start to find the shape of this, that capital T shape, press your heel to the wall behind you, toes flex down. Lift your heel up on level with your hip, and then we'll go left arm forward. Right hand continuing to press into your thigh. Gaze is to the ground, crown of the head is reaching forward. You can take your right arm out with your left if you like and stay with your breath. You're pulling those hands up to frame your ears. Some days it's just easier than others, right? Nice job. Come back to your low lunge position when you're ready. Step back to your plank. Drop halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Take a deep breath into it, friends. Fill up. And on your exhale, sigh out your mouth. Lower to your knees. Drop one of your hips to the ground. Bring your legs forward. And then you'll slide your hips up in space a little bit. Plant your feet to the ground. Feet are at hip bone distance. Extend your arms forward. We're going to come down onto our backs. But we're going to use our core strength to vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. Release down onto the back. And then when your head touches the ground, step your heels in a little closer towards you. So if you reach your arms down your sides, your fingertips can brush against your heels. And then plant your elbows into the ground at your sides, bend them at 90 so your hands are reaching up, and draw your hips away from the ground as you step your shoulder blades in a little closer towards one another. This is bridge. Feet are rooted. You're spread out into them. Pressing into your elbows, releasing the weight of the head and finding the breath as you lift up tall through the hips. This is the easiest place to see the movement of your breath when you do diaphragm breathing, the way your belly rises and falls. The last round of breath. And then slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, release down. We'll find a happy baby, so make hooks with your peace sign fingers, and then take those hooks around your big toes, so your tips of your fingers are pointing in towards one another, or the knuckles are pointing towards one another. Bend your knees out wide. Ankles are stacked above your knees. Bottoms of the feet are pointing up in space. And then you're pulling down gently on the frame, getting your low back into the mat or close to the mat as you then just give a little side to side rock here. Weight of the head totally relaxed. Take your left foot to the ground and send your right ankle over the top of your left knee or thigh like we did with that figure 4. And then interlace your hands around the left shin or around the left hamstring. So left arm goes to the outside of the left leg and then right hand goes into the gap you created between the legs. Flex your right toes back in towards your shin. Give your right knee a little flex forward. And then just a little bit of a sway side to side if you want. But we're using the ankle over the knee as a fulcrum point to gently leverage the knee forward, getting some flexibility, opening up, getting a stretch in our right hip. Nice, friends. So just extend your right leg flat out in front of you and then hug your left knee up towards your left shoulder. And we'll create a spinal twist. Your right hand grabs onto your left knee and then pulls your left knee down over to the right. You roll onto the outside edge of your right hip. Left arm reaches to the left and your gaze goes out over your left fingertips. So twisting from the tailbone all the way up through the crown of your head, and then just staying with that slow, deep breath. And if your left shoulder is way up off the ground, you want to guide that left shoulder close to the ground or into the ground. And then just roll onto your back, Bring your knees to your chest, wrap your arms around them, and give yourself a little rock, just massaging out your spine. Right foot to the ground, your knee is up in space, left ankle over the top of your right knee thigh, and then interlacing your hands around the right hamstring or around the right shin, and then just pulling the right knee towards you as you let your left toes gently flex towards your left shin and let your left knee flex forward. Stay still or give a little side to side rock, massaging out the hips, massaging out the low back and the sacrum. So again, we are using your ankle above your knee as a fulcrum point to leverage and gently flex your left knee forward, opening through that left hip. Get to the end of the breath that you're on. And then uncross the left ankle from the right knee, stretch it flat out in front of you. Draw your right knee up towards your right shoulder, and then we'll take that twist. So left hand pulls your right knee down over to the left. Roll onto the outside edge of your left hip, and then reach and extend your right arm out to the right. Letting the right shoulder just gently draw towards the ground. Letting those inhales push up into the twist, and those exhales release you deeper into it. Last couple rounds of breath. Awesome, friends. So roll onto your back. Give yourself that last little rock out, massaging your hips, your low back, your sacrum. And then we'll move into our final resting pose. This is corpse posture, Savasana. So you can add any layers of clothing back on that feels good to you. But essentially, you're just making yourself comfortable and then letting the legs extend out, weight of the feet relax open. Letting your arms relax down at the sides. Your palms can just turn up to the sky. Weight of the head nice and heavy. Closing the eyes. And you can let go of controlling your breath at this point and let your body just take back over on the breath. And the idea is as we bring ourselves into this physical stillness, we are inviting our mind, and then we're inviting our emotions into the same place of stillness. So into a deeper place of peace. And I'll bring us out of this in just a couple minutes. Just slowly bring life back to your body, wiggling out your fingers and wiggling through your toes. And then reach your arms to the back of the room, stretch your toes to the front of the room, and just give a roll out into your ankles and into your wrists. Start to deepen your breath. Roll the weight onto your side into a fetal position. You can use your outstretched arm as a pillow to relax your head onto. Curling up, feeling the weight of the body just relaxing, feeling the breath moving through the body. And then come up to a comfortable cross-legged position or whatever pose you'd like to end class with. If you are on your sit bones, find the front edge of your sit bones, so pull the flesh away or walk back. And then relax your hands to your legs, close your eyes. Lift your shoulders up high towards your ears, and then roll your shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back. So we've got some nice beautiful posture from the seat. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether it is clear to you or not, no doubt the universe is unfolding exactly as it should. Friends, thank you for letting me lead you through your practice today. Thank you for getting on your mat and practicing. Have a beautiful rest of it. The light in me greets the light in you. Much love. Namaste. Awesome, friends. Thanks for joining me for another great yoga class. If you're in a position to make a donation, you'd like to make a donation, I've got my Venmo ID in the description of this video. And if not, no worries. This class is totally my gift to you. And as always, please feel free to like, subscribe, and share. So have a great one, and I'll catch you next time.